All righty, welcome everybody. So happy to have y'all here for our preview of the Time and Attendance Work Center, which is one of the many new features that Cardinal will roll out as part of our upgrade project. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to start with a few introductions. Then I'm going to give you a quick overview of the upgrade project and discuss our session objectives. I'll then turn it over to Kranti, who will show you the fabulous new TA WorkCenter and also tell you about some other exciting new features in time and attendance. We'll end with any last-minute questions you may have, and then I'll fill you in on what you can expect in the next few months. Okay, as I mentioned, our main speaker today is Kranti Natuva, our time and attendance team lead. Many of you know me. My name is Dana Smith, and Monica and I are the change leads here at Cardinal, and we'll be facilitating this session. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about our PUM upgrade project. The Cardinal team is enhancing both BIN and HCM, upgrading these applications to the latest PeopleSoft releases. We started the project in September 2025, and we plan to go live with the upgraded system in September 2026. The upgrade includes over 1,400 enhancements aimed at improving the user experience and overall system functionality, including the implementation of work centers in most of the modules. So what is so great about work centers, you might ask? A work center serves as a centralized hub for users to access key module components and is tailored to Cardinal system roles. Think of it as a one-stop shop for doing your daily tasks. It consolidates reports, queries, tasks, and relevant links into a single workspace. And the My Work section highlights where user action is needed. You'll learn much more about the TA WorkCenter from Kranti. We are giving you folks an exclusive first look at the TA WorkCenter. We are going to use your feedback and insights to help inform our communication and training strategy to our larger Cardinal audience. We're also hoping what you hear today will get you excited, and you'll take what you learned today and share it with your agency colleagues. We know that virtual sessions are a challenge because there's so many distractions, but please try to stay focused for the next hour. We value your feedback and hope you will ask questions because if you are thinking it, someone else probably is too. And lastly, please, 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 and I can add some more pleases, please complete our post-session survey. In this survey, of course, we're asking for your feedback on many topics, but we're also giving you the opportunity to let us know if there are any links, reports, or queries that you think need to be added to the TA WorkCenter. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Kranti, who is going to walk you through the TA WorkCenter and then give you a fabulous demonstration. So take it away, Kranti.
Thank you, Dana. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And before we get started, I want to just pause a moment to acknowledge who's in the room today and why you are here. I think everyone invited into this session was selected intentionally by the time and attendance team. And I would, thanks to Susie, she did write up a good summary on who should be invited from every agency. So you were invited because of the roles you play within your agencies, your admins, your subject matter experts, and you're the people where your agency employees come to when they have questions or need support. You were also selected because of your deep knowledge of your agency and how they use Cardinal, because many of you have been willing to help us in the past, whether through testing or giving us any feedback or raising concerns. Since go live, you've consistently done something very important and helped us. And I really want to thank you all, because even though the TA team is the TA module is the most self-service facing module, we do have a very few number of user tickets that we get on a daily basis. And it's all because you have done something incredible. When you see something that's not correct, you always come back to us, open a ticket, and that prevents an issue to be widespread. So I used to work in New York and take trains every day to work. My office was next to Penn Station. I used to hear this every time. When you see something, say something. I would say you lived that, because you always, when you see something that's wrong, you always open a ticket. And that's the reason why our ticket volume is so low in TA, even though we have like so many people that we support for self-service. So before we go any further, thank you. And I truly appreciate your partnership and your willingness to join this session and help us. And I want to, again, briefly reframe what today is, even you might have already heard some of this from Dana. What we are going to show you is a preview of the work center. And this is not final. What you will see reflects just where we are today, and it's intentionally being shared early. We are sharing this to just gather feedback on the usability and on how we approach the user rollout, not just because everything's complete and locked in. So there's still work going on to improve the work center. I mean, we're not expecting you to memorize anything here out of this session, learn every detail. What we want you to focus on today are a couple things. First one, what feels easy to use, what makes sense right away, what feels confusing, and what you think users would need the most support for training. I just want to repeat what's easy to use, looking at the work center, what makes sense right away with the work center functionality, or what you feel is confusing and what you think needs more training efforts. There will be training, job aids, and more walkthrough sessions that will be coming. Today is just about awareness, context, and your early feedback. I also want to set some expectations about the scope. We are only talking about time and attendance work center. This is not the only work center you will see. If you are a core user, for other modules, there will be a payroll work center and benefit work center that will be available after go live. So today we are only focusing just on the time and attendance so that we can explain it clearly, thoughtfully, and gather some meaningful feedback. So what is this time and attendance work center? As you see on the slide, it's a central hub for the TA core users. It brings together items that require attention and provide easier access to pages or queries or reports, and process any tasks that you do on a day-to-day basis. The most important idea of the work center is it's not removing any functionality that you currently have. It just reduces the navigation. It improves the visibility, so your daily work is easier. I'm going to quickly walk the sections you see on the slide here. So the first one's the My Work section. That's the to-do list. So a place where you see all your exceptions or the work items that you need to focus on. Right now, exceptions might be the only thing, but there's going to be more that are going to get added eventually. The goal here is the visibility. You can see what needs attention. You're not going through multiple reports or multiple pages to find out what's on your list to do on a day-to-day basis. The My Work area should help you to get your daily tasks accomplished easily. The next one is the My Approvals. My Approvals, these display pending transactions that need approval, and it's based on your security role and whatever is delegated to you as a delegated authority. the approvals flow here, and you can take action from the work center. And then coming to links, and I call this as the heart of the work center, because I really see a great benefit of using work center to navigate different pages. These links provide navigations to day-to-day TA pages, and this is where I feel like a big benefit, because it reduces where do I go again. Several times we get tickets on I'm having this issue, and it's not something that you do on a day-to-day basis, but you have to go access page to, for example, you have to go look at a reported time audit. There's a report to it, there's an online page to it. People forget about it, they open tickets, and how do I access it, right? And then it's mostly we point them out to the training material. They have to go back, look at the material, or look at the reports catalog to identify what to do, where to go. That all is going to go away with the links, because they're all grouped together and you can easily access them. You don't need to remember the navigation. You don't need to go through the traditional nav bar or the compass to go to the exact navigation of the page, because this grouping will help you. And we'll go into more details when I show the live demo. The next section is the queries. These have two subsections. One is the most run and the must run sections. So the most run is the one that's frequently used by the users. So we have identified what queries are the users mostly using, and we have grouped them together. And then we have another section that's must run, which we tell agencies they definitely have to run these reports either on a day-to-day basis or every pay period, or it could be annual or quarterly. Run those reports to make sure your payrolls data is flowing correctly from time and labor, or you're meeting all the compliance reporting. And the same holds true for reports or processes section. There is a must run and most run. Must run to make sure you're meeting the compliance needs and making sure people are getting paid correctly in payroll. And the most run are, again, gathered together based on the usage of it, which we identified the frequently used and grouped them together. That's it. And for this slide, let's move on to the next one. This one's about the links. So as I said, this is the main heart of the work center, where you can access different pages from one location through the work center. And the way, instead of giving everything that's available in the nav bar, we did come up with these groupings based on roles. What you see here is, if you are a user with all the core roles, then you will see all of them. But if you are just a supervisor, you only see the link sections that are applicable for supervisors. So the manage time and absences, the first two, time and absences, the first one, both of them, you would see only if you are like a TA supervisor or an AM supervisor, then you see those sections. And if you don't have any other core roles, you won't see the other sections in the work center. But if you are an admin, also in the agency, then you would see the next section, which will give you the administer time and administer absences. Then the administrator setup, that's the TA employee setup admin role, where you will be enrolling employees into time and labor or enrolling employees into shift. If you are a setup admin, you would see the links under that, and that section is only visible to the employee setup admin role. And the next one is the delegations and the grace approvals. And this one is applicable only to the delegation admin, or if you are a TA expired grace approver. The pages that you go through the nav bar are available under this section to maintain delegations and to do the grace approval pages that you commonly use to review or approve time. Then the last one is the other links, which gives you access to report manager or process monitors. So you can go look at your reports for interfaces or anything that you run could be viewed through the report manager, or you can access the process monitor to review the reports. And then next, I'm going to quickly share screen.
Kranti, before you do that, we do have one question from Cindy. Will either role under number 4, maybe we should go back to the previous screen. Will either role under number 4 see both, or just delegation admin only sees administrator, delegation, etc.?
They are role specific. If you have the delegation admin, you will see administer delegation. And if you also have the expired grace approval, then you see the administer grace approval section of it. If you have both, you will see everything in the 4. So you need to have both the roles to see both of them.
All right, thank you.
Right. So as I walk through this live demo, I'm going to be just intentional and structured before I start sharing my screen. I would like you to focus on a couple things: where things live, how things are grouped, how this replaces navigation. We're not going into functionality. Detailed training will cover all the steps. So let me go and share my screen.
As Kranti's pulling that up, just so you're all aware, we're in a development environment. So, and as Dana also mentioned early on, this environment or what we are in the midst of is you get to see the early preview. We haven't even started our full-on system test of it. So it's taken us a little bit of time, but you'll also see he's logging in as another user to show you what it would look like as a user as opposed to the superpowers that Kranti has.
Thank you, Julie. Let me log in. I have logged into our test environment, and this is the TA WorkCenter tile that will take you to the WorkCenter. So the first section is the My Work. As we have seen in the other slide, there's My Work, My Approvals, Links, Queries, and Reports and Processes. So I'll start with the My Work section.
Awesome. So what we just did is the magic of Control Plus to just make our resolution just a little bit bigger. And you'll see that when some of these times you might need to scroll, but that's only for the demonstration purposes. And you would set your own resolution. Back to you, Kranti.
Thank you. So as I said, the My Work is your to-do list. So here you are going to see the recent exceptions that got generated, and you could go work on these exceptions from here. You do not have to go to the exceptions page, or you do not have to run a report to see what exceptions you have. If you are a supervisor, the employees that report to you, those exceptions will show up here. If you are an admin, all the agency employees that you have access to with the exceptions will show up here. As you know, there are 2 types of exceptions. The ones that cannot be allowed, you have to fix the exception. And to fix the exception, you have to go fix either their HR data or go fix the data on the timesheet. Allowable exceptions are the ones that you can allow, as you know, that they are like allowed in some exceptional cases. So you can take action on these from here directly. You click on the manage exception, and it will tell you what the exception is. And if you need to fix it, you can go onto the timesheet by clicking on this. Or if it's something that needs HR information data to be fixed, then you might have to reach out to your HR admin to get that data fixed. But if it's like an allowable exception, you should be able to allow them from this page under allowable exceptions. Let me go to my approvals now.
Kranti,
Yes.
before you go to that, we have one question from Shannon. And she has asked if you could show how the home page will be different again. It looks like the approval tile will go away. Is that correct?
Okay, let's go ahead, go back to that page. So this is our new homepage. Obviously, Shannon, thank you for pointing out. We do have a couple different things. So what Kranti is showing is the approvals of Nicole. But no, you're not.
No, this is not Nicole.
This-
Someone else.
Somebody else. So what this is showing is the tiles that individual user will have. You will see approvals on that homepage tile, and you also see delegation, which is a new function that we'll talk about during. We're having pre-go live forums, and we'll also have some information. So there are, and again, we're in the development environment, so things might change a little bit, but this is generally how things will look. If you want to come off mute, you're happy. We're happy to have you do that. Does that answer your question, Shannon?
I want to add one other thing.
Yeah.
The approval style is not going to go away. It's still going to be there. You can still go use the approval style to approve, because you could be a HR admin, a benefits admin, a TA admin, or a supervisor, TA.
Yeah.
So there are multiple approval transactions that flow to the approval tile. You might be seeing benefit approvals, HR approvals, TA approvals, all under one tile. The WorkCenter, the difference is the WorkCenter is only giving you access to the TA approvals. So if you are only a TA supervisor, yes, WorkCenter could be not the only way, could be the easy way to do your work and to get the approvals done. But if you are an admin for HR and benefits, instead of going to multiple work centers, your approval tile will show you everything. I'm just going to click on it to show the different sections that you see on the left-hand side. So as you see, absence requests, delegations, live event, payable time, reported time. You would see, if you are a HR admin, you would see name change. Everything's under this one tile. But in the TA WorkCenter, you would only see the transactions related to TA. So let me go back to the TA WorkCenter.
Regina, I love this. She loves it already, Kranti. Making people's day.
Oh, lots of hearts. You're getting lots of hearts for this.
Thank you. And so the next section is the time approvals, right? As I said, this is where we have all these grouped transactions related to time and labor. Your payable time approval, reported time approval, or your absence approval, something new called cancel absence approval, which we're going to talk about it with the new features that we're going to discuss at the end of this WorkCenter session. And also the delegation. If you have been delegated a time and labor transaction for approval, you can approve that from here. And that old classic delegations going away. We are going to have a tile for delegation, which I'm going to talk about that one too. So that's the approval section of it. And as you see, when you log in, these sections are expanded like this. But the links you have, but the links you have to go click on them and they get expanded. And as I said before, these links, you don't see all of them unless you have all the roles. If you have the expired grace approval, if you have the delegation admin approval, if you have the setup employee admin role, you're an AM admin, you're a TA, time and labor admin, same thing here, absence supervisor, time and labor supervisor. So based on what roles you have, you would see those sections. If you have all the roles, you will see all of them. The other links are available for everyone. And again, just want to let you know, this WorkCenter is not for self-service users. It's only for core users. So the links is like the heart of the WorkCenter, where you can go as a supervisor, click on this. I'm a supervisor. What all can I do as a time and labor supervisor? throw the team time tile, you could do all of that from here.
Cindy says, less favorites. Yay.
Just less favorites. And the next is the manage absence. So here on the team time tile, where whatever the AM supervisor can do, you can do that, not just addition to the team time tile. Anything that you were used to going through the nav bar, they all are under these sections. So administer times. There are some pages that currently you don't go through the team time tile. You have to know the navigation, and this is where the tickets that we get mostly are. I don't know how to access that page. Where do I go? Right? And we have to respond to those tickets saying, here is a job aid, and this will tell you how to navigate to that page. We're expecting all those are going to go away, because if you are an admin and you know that's an admin's responsibility, you can come here, access all the pages that an admin needs to do on their daily basis or on a pay period basis. You can come here and access those pages from here. Next one is the admin absences. Here you see all the absence related administrator pages, whether you are adjusting absence balances, if you want to look at the triggers that were set up, or review the results after a calc is run, look at the supporting elements, what periods we have, everything's here. Or if you are an admin that wants to access an absence event, no more multiple navigations. Again, you can go to every page from here. This one, administrator setup, is where you are seeing the employees' time and labor enrollment, whether it's time reported data or comp plan enrollment. If you want to look at their history, you want to bypass an employee from auto enroll, or if you want to enroll an employee, they're in commuter imputed income, shift differentials, you can use that eligibility page. So everything that you need to do as a setup admin can be accessed from this one location. This is for, again, as I said, for delegation admin. You can access these pages from here. And this is the expired grace approval when you have to approve something for an individual employee through a batch approval, or if you have to update someone's time status or time admin reprocess it, you have the option to do that from here. All right, the next one is the other links. So this are divided into two sections. Most run and must run and most run queries. So you also have access to the query manager. And if there is something that's not included here, because not every query is listed here, because if we list everything, this list is going to become too big. So we are compiling these. These are not final yet, but something that you definitely have to run either on a daily basis, on a pay period basis, or an annual basis. They all come under this must run queries to make sure that you meet the compliance requirements, or you make sure the data is flowing to payroll correctly so people are getting paid correctly. You need to run these queries on a regular basis. The most run, as I said before, they are grouped based on how users are running queries. These are the ones that people have run mostly since go live. So we use that information to group them together.
Kranti, you're getting all kind of accolades.
Regina's excited again.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
and we have a question from Regina. You want to come off mute, Regina?
No question. I'm just so excited. I mean, this is what I've been dreaming of. I mean, I can't remember what these things are in a particular minute, but you have put them right at my fingertips. I am so excited. That's all I want to say.
Thanks, Regina.
Thank you all.
Thank you. And the reports and processes, same concept, must run and most run reports. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now. The quick recap. So my work, my approvals, links, queries, reports, and process. Before we get to this question, my work is more for visibility and exceptions, getting your daily work done. My approvals is where you have all the consolidated approvals that are time and labor related. Links is where I would call it as favorites or shortcuts that are role-based navigation, and it has all that grouping in links. Now, queries and reports, most run, must run to make sure that you are definitely running the most must run reports and not ignoring them. So now I just want to pause, capture your feedback through a quick Menti question. So which WorkCenter feature do you think will be the most helpful to the users? So while you're answering why we're doing this, why we're asking this question, we are collecting feedback to support the usability and rollout, because different agencies may find different pieces helpful, right? Some might say my work, because of the visibility into exceptions, which your supervisors might not be paying much attention. Some agencies might be saying my approvals, because you always have to follow up as an admin with your supervisors when it's deadline for timesheet that they are not doing their approvals. Maybe this will help them. You tell them to go to the work center and you see everything there. Some might say the links. We always have to open tickets to get the navigations. So, or it could be queries and reports. Okay, I think we have the responses back. 25% said my work, 38% is links. That's good. So I think this helps us. So we could focus training where it matters most when we do the work centers, I guess, and build maybe better job aids and improve the rollout communications. Okay, the next slide, we're going to talk about more enhancements. I think these are some of the many features that are coming in. We picked the top 6. And I'm assuming that you all will like these two. The first one is the direct reports team time tile. And I want to talk a little more detail about what this is. I think some agencies have opened tickets since we have gone live, saying my supervisors are only able to access timesheets of their employees, but we need access to the indirect reports, people who report to their employees. So we have always said that that's not an option. Supervisors can only see their own employee timesheets. Now you're going to have a new tile on your homepage. Along with the team time, there is a direct reports team time tile. What this tile helps is your supervisors can not only see the timesheets of their own employees. If one of their employees is also a supervisor, they can go drill down and see their employees' timesheets. You can access their data. Not just timesheet, all the navigations that are under the team time tile, they will be under direct reports team time tile. So you can access your indirect reports through this tile. And we're assuming that this functionality is going to resolve a lot of the tickets that we get about security related.
You're getting lots of positive reaction for this one, Kranti.
That's good.
Gina has a question.
So Kranti, I think the question is that based upon the reports to field or the supervisor field?
Oh, if that's the question, that's still based on the reports to field, not the supervisor field. Yeah, I mean, there are two issues, which the centralized fluid delegation, which is the next thing that I'm going to talk about, that I'm sure that you would love that too. Because the delegation is right now is on Classic World, which we go through a nav bar, access the pages to do the delegation. The new delegation tile will have everything that a supervisor and an admin can do, right? So you can now delegate your transactions to multiple people. That's something that we have been asked, like, is that functionality available? We are enabling that. Now you can delegate your transactions to multiple people. And again, this is not final. We are exploring other options too, there is another setup, which we are trying to bring that into scope, to leave the work list items on the actual supervisor's work list too, on the approvals. What this means is, I think some of the law enforcement agencies are running into some challenges where they are sometimes working like longer shifts, and they don't come back for 3 days, but they are a supervisor and they need to approve their time. And another supervisor does not have access to these employees' timesheets, and they don't want to do like delegations every week. I'm out. I want to delegate for 3 days and then come back and revert the delegation back. With this functionality, with the fluid delegation, you can now leave the work list items on the supervisor's approval, and you could do like a delegation open-ended and give it to another person that can, to multiple supervisors. They all get it, and one of them can approve it. So if the question was more about accessing timesheets, you can only access timesheets for your direct and indirect reports using the direct reports team time tile. If the question was more about, can I approve, that functionality is given through the delegation, fluid delegation, where you can open-ended do a delegation to another supervisor or to multiple supervisors, and the supervisor will still continue to get the approval. So if you're out for like 3 days and then come back for 7 days, the two supervisors can share their approvals.
Kathy, there is one clarification that Cindy has asked. Supervisor versus reports to. The reports to is generally who sees the timesheets, not the supervisor. Is that different now?
Yeah, when I say supervisor, I've been using the role supervisor, but it's really the reports to. Maybe I confused by using the word supervisor. That functionality is not changing. It's still the same. It is the reports to. Reports to remains the same. If you are a reports to, in a reports to position, that's who will be able to see their employees' timesheets.
Cindy's got her hand up. Cindy, you want to follow up?
Yeah, so I think going along with what Regina was saying is we had like it would be helpful if supervisors could see it like underneath the supervisor because we may have the supervisor is the person who oversees the role and they're listed as supervisor, but we've assigned a different person as the reports to in order to approve the timesheet. But that supervisor wants to be able to see the timesheet at any point to see what their staff is doing. So I think that's where Regina was going as well. Like, is there something like the supervisor would be able to see the timesheets even if they're not the one that's reports to and approving it?
So that's where the fluid delegation comes into picture, where you could delegate between those two, and they also will get the approvals and they can view the employee's time from there.
So would you make the reports to and supervisor theoretically the same and then use the centralized fluid delegation to alter who can approve or will approve?
So in your case, the other supervisor is not really approving timesheets, but he just wants access to the timesheets, right? So whoever is in the reports too can continue to approve, but if that person can do an open-ended delegation to the other supervisor, they will get the approvals, and that from there they can access the timesheet.
Okay, I think I understand.
And Teresa has asked a question, Kranti. Can you delegate individual transactions or will it still be a whole work list?
It will still be the whole work list. There is no functionality currently available to do transaction by transaction.
Regina,
So maybe I
Sure.
maybe
Okay.
I want to take a step back. If you're asking me transaction to two meanings to it, because are you talking about transactions within time and labor? are transactions, including everything in the TA module. So if you are considering time and labor as one transaction, absence as another transaction, you could delegate time related to one supervisor and absence related to another one, because they are set up as different transactions within time and labor, which an example would be payable time approvals. Within that, you cannot pick and choose this one employees this day go to this person. No, not like that. Across transaction types, you can delegate it to different supervisors, but within one transaction type, you cannot pick and choose, like 2 employees should go here, 3 employees should go there. You cannot do that.
Did that answer your question, Teresa?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. The next one is the real-time absence forecasting. And this has been like a highly voted on the idea space that Oracle always pushed back and they finally implemented. And this is the biggest problem that I've seen. And I'm sure DMV will love this, because we even did an alert for them to say when a transaction becomes pay docking, you have to go back and do all this analysis to figure out what did they change? Why did this docking vacation convert to docking? Go back and talk to the supervisor or maybe the employee, get that changed. The good news, the real-time forecasting. So I'll give an example to maybe better explain this. So if your vacation balance is 8 hours, let's just say, you entered vacation for yesterday, forecasted it, everything's fine, right? And then the employee's like, oh, I forgot. I had taken a vacation 2 weeks back. I never put that in, but he only had 8 hours of balance. Now he goes back 2 weeks back, puts that 8 hours of vacation forecast. Balance was 8 at that time. It will go through fine. What it does is the nightly calc says, you had only 8, you put in 16. I will change the future 8 to pay docking. We have a report that they run. They have to follow up and do all this, right? I think it's been a decade people have been asking to do something about this. And then finally, Oracle has now implemented this. What you do when you forecast on the 2 weeks back transaction, it pops up and gives you a display below and says, this is good, but the future one's going to become not eligible. So go fix that. So I'm expecting the dockings go away. So this is one of the best features that we think is going to help agencies to reduce their work and not following up with people for pay docking.
From the number of hearts we're seeing, I think that's true.
Okay, the next one is the enhanced reported time audit.
How
Right.
far back will Cardinal go, Kranti? I would think that means if you're going back to change.
So the security thing, we are still working on it. It's not final yet. We are planning to implement the same prior period access rules that we have currently in production, which is 90 days for employees, 90 days for supervisors, and admins will have an access to go back 1 year. So that 1 year limit, we want to keep it the same.
Is that what you meant, Regina, or did you mean how far back will forecasting take an account?
Both. Both. I want to see how far back forecasting would take, and going back getting that document.
I mean, the forecasting is more not going back. Forecasting is going forward, because if you have entered something in the past that was fine, that never is going to get back changed to docking. Forecasting is more of something in future, will that get changed? So that will go from the day you enter to till all the way you have whatever the future time you have. So you entered something back in March of last year. This is February, and admin entered something there, forecasted and entered the vacation. It goes from there till the current date, and it will tell you what all absences will become ineligible.
And then there's one more question. Can we change it to 30 days for employees?
That's a big change and a big ask. I don't think that's a possibility.
So one thing that we will ask at the end is that survey that Dana was saying, please, 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 if you can enter those suggestions in that survey, it's always up for consideration, not to say that it will happen, but at least we have it on our list.
Yeah. But just to let you guys know, there are agencies that have employees that work in law enforcement where their federal periods are for 28 days. So their timesheets are not final until the 28th day is done. Supervisors need more time to review, and there are corrections that come and they need more than 30 days.
And then Shannon has asked, can you clarify how this differs with how the system currently acts? And I'm assuming that's related to the real-time absence forecasting. Is that right, Shannon?
Yes, that's correct. I just was trying to get clarification on the forecasting, how that's changing.
It's just more helpful to the users because it's going and evaluating not just that 1 week absences, it's going and double checking everything in future to see if anything else is getting changed to ineligible. Right now, it only goes and forecasts whatever's in that week. And if something in future becomes ineligible, it's not giving you a notification on the online page. Calc at nightly goes and says, there are things that became ineligible now. I'm converting this vacation to docking. Now, in the future, it will tell the employee, you entered this, but this is causing an issue for something in future. So go and fix that. So the employee has to follow that prompt and go and fix that other vacation to something else. So that will avoid docking scenarios. Okay.
Got it.
Enhanced reported time audit. So the reported time audit is changing. That maybe we are going to remove that report completely and ask people to use this online page. The classic page was a little confusing. It didn't tell you. It didn't show the history and the current row on one view. Like it shows your current time data. Then you got to click a link to see what was the history before. The new page gives everything in one view. It shows you here is your current time transaction. It gives you a history of what happened to that time transaction. And the report is not that helpful. As I think Shannon asked that question 2 days back, I'm like, I'm not able to figure out what got changed. The report doesn't list every field. This online page gives you all the fields, including chart fields. So it will give you a clear view of what got changed and how the transaction status got changed, and shows you a list of all the fields so you could clearly identify step by step what was the original row, who changed it, and when was it changed, and what's the exact value they changed on the timesheet. So that's coming too. That's a new enhancement. The next one is an employee context retained across team time pages. This is where we have time and labor pages, absence pages, and the team time tile. And even within time and labor pages, within absence pages. Let's say you are going from an absence event page to an absence balance page, or you're going from a timesheet page to look at the employee's leave or compensatory time balances. Every time you go to a new page right now, you have to go searching for that employee again. What Oracle has done is now when you switch back between links, the employee context is retained. So you're not going in and typing that employee again and again every time you go to a new page. You start with one, you carry that forward to other pages. Unless you really want to look at some other employee's data, you have to exit out and search again. Just reducing the effort of retyping that employee ID every time and hitting the search button. It pre-populates with that employee information. So that's something new that's coming. Okay, and the next one is employee-initiated cancellation of approved leave. This is changing because right now, if an employee enters something, and in most cases it could be a future, I'm going to go on vacation, right? Supervisor is like, okay, fine, and they sometimes approve it. And something happens, the employee has to come back to work. Now the employee cannot cancel the absences. They have to reach out to their supervisor, and the supervisor is out. It's another thing. Reach out to admin to get that cancellation done. And it has been an issue for some of the agencies that they've been asking about this functionality. Now, an employee by himself has the ability to cancel an approved absence. So in my example, that vacation that was entered was approved already. The employee now has the ability to cancel by himself, and that cancellation triggers an approval. So the manager knows that the absence that was requested has been now canceled. And when the manager approves that cancellation, the balances get added back. That's something new that's coming up. Okay, I think that's all about the TA enhancements, and back to the work centers. So, because that's what the session is about, right? These all are improvements that are coming, not just the work center. So we will be providing job aids, training, more communication. So you guys are prepared as these features become available. And that's all. Thank you for your attention and for translating my enthusiasm, not so native English and my accent and everything. So
Well, thanks, Kranti.
back to you, Dana.
Yeah, I mean, I think from all the reaction we got, these folks are excited about what's coming. And we really appreciate y'all's time and attention today. Does anybody have any more questions before we go to our last Minty? Oh, there's Cindy. Go for it, Cindy.
Yeah, so I just want clarity because I know you said that you wanted us all to be excited and share this. But I assume there could be like some tweaks, but for the most part, this is happening. It's just like what you may need to tweak with it or focus on so that if we share it, at least with our like executive level, like we wouldn't be like, oh, well, I thought they were going to do that. Like we're good to kind of just share the big picture, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, excellent question. So our original intent was really to get you all's reaction so that we could confirm or deny what we were going out to the masses with. I would say that we are in the 90% sure that we will implement these items because we have built them. We are just moving into our system test at the beginning of March. So if there are issues that come about, the issues may impact security, for example, that then we could or would potentially back things out. And that would be delivered functionality issues that we just couldn't get to work. So there is a potential that they are removed, but we are at this point saying, yep, good to go. So I think directionally, don't get too many people excited about too many things, but you are you're very welcome to share the high level stuff.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wanting, was just kind of conceptually high level. Here's the things that were coming and kind of say, this is how it's going to really help us, you know, the details to follow and training and stuff roll out. So I just wanted to make sure we were good. So thank you.
Absolutely.
I just want to add one thing, and I want to answer this in Julie's style because Julie always loved to give examples. I was trying to like give an example that how would this work center help, right? So if work center is like PeopleSoft is like a city, right? Richmond, and you have multiple destinations in Richmond, and you want to go to each of those destinations. I see work center as a map on your phone, where you can go put in a destination and go there. I'm expecting work center to work like that, where you could take you to every destination that you want. And again, Google Maps won't take you from from once you put your home address, it's not taking you inside to your bedroom or to your kitchen. So you cannot do your self-service activity on WorkCenter. Once you're in the WorkCenter, that's all for core users. You cannot do your own work. You cannot access your self-service things from the WorkCenter. You cannot delegate your own approvals through the WorkCenter. You still have to go out the homepage. So there are certain things that we are also still struggling to get them working correctly in the WorkCenter. So there probably might be some destinations that will not be available on the maps. Yeah.
Love it.
All right, Shannon, I'm gonna get to your question in just a second, but I'm gonna ask Kranthi, if he can address, Chandre's question about, do you know if there will be any changes to the way the timesheet and absence tab look?
Oh, precious. So, oh my gosh, Chandra, you're amazing.
Loaded.
And I feel like maybe Kranthi put you up to this. No, I'm just kidding, Kranthi. So yes, the timesheet and absence are moving to fluid. So it will be,
We did not talk about.
we didn't
that.
talk a lot about, but you all are familiar with it. So it is that mobile access. It's, you know, if people are going to be on their cell phones or mobile device, they can click on a tile and it will be, you'll take to the timesheet. And then because it is mobile accessible, then there's differences in the way that you will be doing entry, like maybe fields might be in different form, different tab order, etc. There are going to be some changes around how to access absence if you are in absence and time and attendance using agency. So those are more to come. We didn't want to delve totally into this today because we have so much more testing to cover. But Kranthi, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Yeah, so I just want to answer that question too about interface changes. No, the interface, the backend table remains the same. So there are no changes to the interface programs, no retesting needed in that area.
Okay.
But it's more of the online look and feel
Yep.
and how the page now is going to be accessible through small form factor devices, the SFF devices, which is like the phones and iPads. The look is completely different. The page looks so different now.
Which is a great thing, right? Because of today, we know that people use their cell phones to enter time or to approve time. And this will be an easier, accessible way to do it. But yeah, so it's positive.
Yeah, so all absence pages and time and labor pages, especially related to self-service, are changing. Timesheets and absence are not going to be integrated. You are going to see time entry in one place and absence entry in a different place, not the same as how it is now. So more to come on that.
And Regina has her hand up. Regina, go ahead.
I'm jumping the gun because I'm so excited and these work centers are perfect.
Regina,
They
you're
are
the
perfect. But I'm just going to ask, are you all going to be working on work centers for the HR model?
Oh my gosh, so exciting. So, Regina, again, Kranthi, did you load these questions? Just kidding. So what we did is we used delivered work centers that Oracle PeopleSoft provided, and then we can configure them to make them for what the Commonwealth needs. Unfortunately, Oracle has not yet rolled out an HR work center, so we don't have that yet. But as soon as they do, all of our backend stuff and our tools will be ready to support it as soon as it's ready.
It's the only module.
But go ahead.
But there are some special things that are gonna wait for
Yeah.
HR. We can't tell, we can't show them to you.
Oh my gosh,
But
so good.
it will make it a little easier to access. Not gonna get first place, but
Oh.
your participation trophy for HR people.
Then the HR
They-
people are very sad that
They
they
are.
don't have a work
They really
center
are.
2%, because all the other modules have a work center.
We love that you say that, and it will as soon as we know more, then we'll provide it out.
So this is sort of our coming attraction. So Shannon, you're asking about training. Yep. As you can imagine from what you've seen, We will touch almost every training object that we currently have. We'll be revamping our instructor-led training, our web-based training, our job aids, our videos. We'll be developing relevant communications to prepare our users for the upcoming changes. And then over the summer, we are going to conduct a number of forums to introduce all these new features to the larger Cardinal community. And again, because of all this activity we've got, this is one of the reasons we really wanted to get with y'all to find out any feedback y'all might have on the best way to roll it out, the best way to communicate it, because we've got a ton of work ahead of us to get all of that ready for our users. As we talked about, go live is scheduled for early September. You can see by our fabulous celebratory bird. And then after go live, and again, any of y'all that have been around for some of our previous implementations know this, we'll hold additional forums if as needed to cover any hot topics or to address big ticket counts where we've seen an issue. So a lot more coming in the next few months as we get ready for this upgrade. Another question.
Okay, go ahead, Chandra, when you're ready.
Okay, I was just gonna ask, so he was talking about the absence, so it'll go back and tell you if the leave is ineligible. So is the time gonna be live? So if I have 20 hours and I use 8, so now is it gonna show I have 12 available, or it's still gonna say 20 hours that's still available? Is that gonna change?
Let me understand the example. So you're saying employee had 20 hours of balance, and then they have entered 8 hours of vacation.
Yes, and now is it gonna say they have 12, or it's still gonna say 20 until we process the leave, or is it gonna be live, like as you change it, it's gonna deduct from the balances?
I mean, it's forecasting, it will be reduced and it will become ineligible if you enter more than 12. Whether you looking at the balances will happen after the calc processing, so that's going to remain the same. It's just the forecasting will stop you if you put more than 20. And it will also flag if something in future that you have entered becomes ineligible. But your final balance tables and display of the balances are all done. That's not changing. It's going to be after the calcs run. And that's run twice every day, 6 p.m. and after midnight.
But it's not gonna post in the balance until payday, like it continue. It's not gonna change the balance in the bottom
Okay.
until payday.
So I'm not sure if you have seen, we have changed the page for the self-service, the comprehensive absence summary page. You could look at the balances based on 2 options. You could see now based on the finalized period values or based on the last processed date values. So that's going to remain the same. They are going to, the employee will have option to see it based on a finalized period or based on what got processed like yesterday. So that's going to remain the same. So they have to wait. You're not waiting until the finalization. You can see as soon as it's processed on that page, and you can do that even now. And more things coming on the delivered pages too. What we have seen is they have added kind of more fields on those pages. You would see what was owned year to date, taken year to date, adjusted year to date, not just the balance. It's showing more fields on the delivered pages. The delivered pages, you still have an option to only pick one of them. That one's going to show based on the last finalized period. But the comprehensive absence summary, you have an option to view it either based on finalized or what got processed last night. Yeah.
And I'm gonna make
Okay,
one
thank you.
Yep.
follow up for Shannon about, she asked if there were going to be training requirements. At this time, we have not identified that we're going to require anybody to retake training based on all of these, the the changes through the upgrade. I'm not that Cardinal really ever requires it, but we might strongly suggest it. But what I will say is, I think most of you know that our training is, or if you don't, I'm letting the cat out of the bag. But we're moving all of our HCM training to Cove LC next week, actually, and all of our courses will be available to take in Cove LC by searching for them. So once we do have all of this, all of these upgraded materials, you'll be able to go in and take any of these WBTs if you want to get a refresher to see how it's working in the new environment. Okay, all right, we're gonna do our last Menti. What suggestions do you have for us to help with user adoption, communications, training materials, or anything else you can think of?
I will say that TA, the time and attendance functionality has many more features than the other modules. So you all are super lucky because, of course, and it makes sense too, because there's such a large user base. But that's really positive.
Well, we got one piece of feedback so far, and our good news is our fabulous trainers are in here, and are seeing your feedback about supervisor-specific training videos. And the second one is larger fonts on reports.
Good one. Interesting.
Oh, I love the third one. Proper change map. Tell the employees, involve them, get their buy-in before ever rolling it out. Wow, they're really coming in. This is great. Lots of screenshots, step-by-steps. That sounds like our job aids, Angela.
It does.
Separate absences from the timesheet.
That's happening.
That's happening.
That's happening.
Yeah.
Yay. I really appreciate these. Yeah, start a campaign to introduce changes, 1 or 2 at a time. Update job aids prior to go live. Continuous communication, even if small bits of information. Yeah, all those great ideas. We really appreciate it. Okay, guys. Well, we can't thank you enough for all of your participation today. Hope you have a great rest of